Also this morning, anyone who is a parent knows raising a family, especially young children, can be a big challenge, and there are so many different approaches to parenting. Joining us this morning is race and equity expert Dr. Rosemarie Allen with more on a conscious approach. Dr. Allen, good morning. How are you? First, we want to start with what is conscious parenting?
Well, conscious parenting, Darius, is a very intentional method for parenting, and it really focuses more on the parent than on the child. And it includes a mindfulness approach where the parents are really mindful of their own behavior, of their own actions and intentions. And because they're mindful of their responses, they can better help their children manage big emotions and help them to self-regulate.
Now, what's the difference between conscious parenting and nonviolent parenting?
Well, both start with the parent. So the focus on parenting is not really focusing on the child and their behavior. It's really about managing your behavior as an adult. And in nonviolent parenting, we're really looking at compassionate communication, where we listen authentically to the heart of the child. And then we listen with a compassionate ear. So that if a child is having big emotions, we're not looking at the behavior, but we're looking at what's happening behind the behavior. It requires us to really step back and step away from some of the ways that we were negatively parented. So nonviolent parenting is basically compassionate parenting, where the child's needs are at the center of everything we do.
It's kind of like a two-way approach there, because you also want the child to be able to open up and trust you as well as their parent. And then that just brings us to one of our final questions. Why is conscious and nonviolent parenting so important when we even think about these two after you just explained them and compared them?
One of the things that we have to remember historically is that children have very few rights in this country. Actually, animal rights came before children's rights. And even today, there are 19 states that allow corporal punishment in our schools, where teachers and administrators can actually hit children with a weapon, and a paddle is a weapon, in schools. And unfortunately, Colorado is one of those 19 states. Wow. And it's very, very important that we understand that we pass trauma down from generation to generation. And these two approaches help us to really break that cycle and improve outcomes for our children.
I love how you easily talked about trauma being passed down, because we easily talk about how that's inherited in so many different communities. Dr. Allen, we really appreciate you this morning. Thank you so much and have a great day.